the last thing I want to touch on, what I really like about the show as well, is so again, going back to the premise of like Ko wants to be a vampire. That sounds really corny and just kind of generic on the surface, right? Until you stop and think about the conditions to be a vampire. You have to be in love with the vampire and then they bite you, right? Those are conditions to be a vampire. Humans like set defined rules in their life. We like the ability to say like if X then Y 100%, right? We typically don't like ambiguity, and there's one thing that's very ambiguous is just human emotions and human relationships and human feelings, especially as a young teenager, a young middle schooler about to become high schooler who's kind of like feeling things for the first time that he's never felt in his life. Think back to when you were growing up and you're kind of having your first friends and just kind of that worry. Sometimes you would have that worry and just in the back of your mind is like, ask yourself like, what is a friend? At what point are you friends with someone, right? Like we can say that we have friends, but at what point did we become friends? At what point was that, and more importantly, at what point was that feeling mutual? Because sometimes you can have that really nagging sense at the back of your mind where like, either I think of you as a friend, but do you think of me as a friend? And you don't know that. And it can be scary to ask for that too. It can be scary to ask someone like, do you think of me as a friend? Do you see me as a friend? And if it's hard to learn like when you're a friend to someone, it's even harder to understand like sometimes if you are in love with someone, feeling the feelings of love for the first time. What is like we make fun of that all the time in anime, right? It's like, you love her, you fucking idiot, just get together and smooch. The will they won't they dynamic. It's like it's so clear and obvious, but it's because of that it's really easy to forget that growing up that's not, for a lot of people that kind of feeling is not so obvious. Especially as well, it can be difficult to disentangle feelings of romantic love from feelings of lust. Like at what point are you lusting for someone, or what point are you loving someone? And Ko is really grappling with those feelings. Like he had an experience at school where he's like, I'm sorry, I don't love you. I don't think so, at least. And that hurt someone, and that hurt him in turn. And that sucks. And it makes sense that he would kind of be withdrawn after that. It's like he would reevaluate. It's like, wait, man, I thought we were good. Like, why does it matter if we love each other or not? I thought we could be friends. And that's something that can be hard to grapple with. And so wrapping this all back around to the vampire, that gives Ko a definitive law, a definitive X then Y. If I'm bitten by Nazuna and I become a vampire, that must mean that these feelings I'm feeling are feelings of love. And then finally at that point, I can categorize this feeling and understand it and put this unease in my heart to rest. And I think that is a very, very compelling driving reason to this story as well, that I'm very impressed by it. It's a very horny show. Like Nazuna's design is like she's very playful and teasing, and she's wearing a bikini basically throughout the show, and she moves in mysterious ways. But in the end, like I'm just very enraptured by kind of this coming of age story. It's a very unique take on it, I would say. That's just happens to be very pretty to look at. So if it wasn't clear already, this is going right into the good shit as well.